Hello and welcome to a brand new movie review video. CM Punk was in the Elimination Chamber last night, so I thought we'd take a look at his horror movie, Girl on the Third Floor, which came out in 2019. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, CM Punk is the only reason I wanted to ever watch this thing. It was the first thing I added to my to-be watch list, and it has been sitting there, rotting away, and I thought, you know what, why not do it now? Girl on the Third Floor is somewhat of a haunted house movie, where the house itself is kind of haunted, and there are spooky things going on in the house. CM Punk plays a guy named Don, and he is a total piece of garbage. You kind of hate watching him 75% of the movie, and then we get a main character shift, as you'll see later in this video, and it's like, well, what the hell? I'm a fan of Punk, and I think his acting was okay in this, not the greatest, but, you know, for a movie like this, you don't need an Oscar-worthy performance, you know what I mean? And the movie itself, quality-wise, it's fine. The story is slightly interesting, but a little silly at some points. This movie has some pretty creepy moments and some pretty decent visuals, mainly towards the end, but overall, I'd say it is a fine watch, nothing too special, but it's not like a same old kind of scenario, just a bit silly, a bit not all that great, but still fine. But I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's go and take a closer look at Girl on the Third Floor. The movie starts off with Don and his dog Cooper showing up at a house that he plans to renovate. Cooper's looking up some weird stuff on the floor, and I don't even know what that is. Don notices some black mold on the wall and begins his renovation. Oh damn, that's what that goop was? I don't want to know what happened here. Later on, his soon-to-be neighbor, Pastor Ellie, shows up and they talk for a bit. Don and his wife Liz are having a baby, so he's fixing up the house so they can move in. While taking care of that hole in the wall, his drill dies, so he has to go and charge it.
Oh, piece of shit, drill motherfucker!
There's so much goop leaking out of this house, jeez. I guess Don has some sort of troubled past. It's sort of hinted at during conversations with his wife and his attorney.
Be a shame if you fucked it all up again.
Don's working on another hole, and he pulls out a pink shirt and some hair, or wait, maybe it's a wig or some sort of scarf, maybe? He goes out to grab a bite at a bar, and Don tells the owner, Geary, that he's moving into the house on Saul and Circle. Geary tells them that the house is bad news for straight men. Okay. He returns home and he calls his wife and updates her on the progress.
Just tilt that phone down to those beautiful boobs one more time.
Pretty interesting dialogue. Now Don's on a website called Daddy Master on his phone. What the hell?
I'll do whatever you say, Daddy.
He moves to another room so he can jack off without Cooper staring at him. The next day, he's fixing up some pipes and he gets slimed. A woman named Sarah shows up, says she likes the house, and it's a shame that it's not empty anymore. He's back under the kitchen sink and he pulls a bead out of the pipes. This is the third bead we've seen in this house. There was one thrown out of a mysterious doorway, one that Don stepped on earlier, and now there's one in the pipes. Don goes to take a shower and oh, well, wouldn't you know it, more goop. Oh damn, and it looks like someone was watching him. He's working on the wall again, trying to paint over that mold spot, but the mold seems to be eating through the paint. Then Don doesn't seem to notice that there's someone standing in the room right next to him. How did he not notice the reflection? He was staring right at the room. Sarah shows up again and he gives her a tour of the house. In pretty much no time at all, she kisses him and they immediately hook up. She leaves, and then while he's justifying his actions to Cooper, there's a loud noise upstairs. The ceiling apparently just fell apart, and there's some sort of rafters above the room. Then Sarah stops by again, but Don actually says no. Good job, man. I mean, you already cheated on your wife, but at least you're stopping after one fling. While he's sleeping, a woman's voice calls for Cooper. All of a sudden, his wife's there. She gets on top of Don, but wait, it's actually Sarah. Either way, Don doesn't seem to mind. He does mind that, though. There's yet another bead, and what the hell, why would you eat that? Don's buddy Milo shows up to help him with the house. They go out to eat, and Geary gives us some more information on the house. Apparently, it used to be a brothel. The next morning, Don asks Milo to not tell his wife that he had a drink. He made a promise. That explains why his wife was so nervous about the beer bottle she saw in the background earlier. Oh, and Sarah's also there, pretending to be his assistant. Milo catches Don acting shady with Sarah and asks him what's going on. Don says he fucked up, and it is what it is. So it looks like we're not gonna get any redeeming qualities out of him. Don leaves and heads off to the hardware store. And now it's time for bead number 5. Come on down. It leads poor Milo to the basement, and I don't have a good feeling about this. Oh, it's just Sarah. Oh my god, she uppercut him with a hammer. And she's not alone. She's working with that scary ghost lady. Don returns home and he texts Milo. He texts back all good. I'd like to think that the ghost lady is the one who sent the text, but it was probably just Sarah. Speaking of Sarah, she's still in the house and Don's wife spots her sneaking around. However, she's not very good at being sneaky because she left the back door open. The house spits up another bead and oh, that just doesn't look right. Cooper follows the bead to the basement and Sarah is there once again. And unfortunately, the next morning, Dawn finds Cooper dead in the dryer. Later, another bead rolls up to Dawn. Not now, bead. We're in mourning. Sarah shows up once again and Dawn apologizes to her and tells her that he got her a gift. A hammer to the back of the head? How did you know? He wraps her up and puts her in the basement. Liz calls him and says that Milo sent her a text. He flips out and hangs up on her. When he heads back down to the basement, though, Sarah's gone. He hears noises and he chases who he thinks is Sarah up the stairs. He's looking around in the attic and he hears noises coming from inside the walls, so he breaks a wall down. Oh look, more beads, and a secret room with drawings on the wall. The next day, he rips up the wallpaper and uses a camera to see what's going on within the walls. Yep. You got a creepy lady living in your walls. He starts going nuts with the hammer on the house, and it seems like the house is a living thing.
Oh, God!
Oh shit, there's Milo. Dawn gets a text from Milo, and wow, that's like, I know it's supposed to be kind of haunting or whatever, but it's giving Facebook minion memes. The creepy wall lady shows herself once again and gives Dawn another bead. It goes into his skin, and he tries to cut it out of himself.
Please stop!
It eventually pops out of his eye, but don't worry, she has more. Huh, so that's where beads come from. It's sometime later and Liz finally shows up and looks around the place. She finds a newspaper in one of the many holes that Dawn made and learns the truth about their new house. She heads down to the basement, but when she goes back upstairs, she meets Sarah. Then Pastor Ellie shows up and Sarah disappears. I know she just got there, but I don't think Liz is vibing with the house all that much.
Fuck this.
Oh, hey, Sarah. Liz goes to talk with Pastor Ellie and she spills the tea on Don's history. He defrauded his clients out of their retirement funds, and he also cheated on her while they were trying to get pregnant. Jeez, Don, get your shit together, man. Pastor Ellie says that she should take her baby and her husband far away from that house. That night she returns home and Sarah is hosting a party, apparently. She's looking for Don and finds a viewing party in the attic. I wonder what they're watching. Yeah, alright, yeah, that's totally normal. Right around this part of the movie is where I was just like almost completely lost and really confused, but Sarah's gonna explain. So Sarah was a performer at this sex house years ago and then she got killed. So now she's haunting the house and testing/killing men, I think. Also, the creepy lady that's with her was just like an innocent girl, but she also died, I think. Maybe the movie is explaining it well, but I'm just a bit stupid, or maybe I did take away the right information, but it's just like, it still is a bit messy. Anyways, she chases after Liz with a box cutter, but she's able to lock herself in a room. Oh hey look, Don's back. He's crawling out of the closet and he's covered in cuts. He says he fucked up again and that he just needs Liz to say it's okay and that she understands. Understandably, she says no, and so Don cuts his face open and what the hell, it's Sarah? I guess she was also testing Liz? She runs downstairs and the house is still messing with her. The creepy girl crawls out of the wall, but Liz isn't taking any more bullshit.
Nope.
Oof, really? She finally gets out of the house and Ellie is sitting on the porch. She knows what happens in that house. She doesn't warn anyone because people have to make their own choices and all that stuff, blah blah blah. It's all one big test. Later, Liz goes back into the house and she finds a body in the walls. She takes it to Ellie and then they bury it. I'm assuming it's the body of the innocent girl that died all those years ago, but I don't know. 6 months later, the baby is born and they're still in the house. Liz steps away for a bit and beads drop from a vent above the crib and it's Don dropping them. He ends the movie with a scream.
That's my girl.
And there you have it, that is Girl on the Third Floor. There's a really good movie in here somewhere. I think it's a nice take on the haunted house subgenre of horror, but we follow a scumbag 75% of this movie, and yeah, he's being tested and he fails the test and like he gets his little comeuppance or whatever. But Liz becomes the main character that we have to care about the last 15 or so minutes of the movie. The only other times we see her before that is when she's on the phone talking to Don. So I just think it's a little weird we spend all this time with Don and he's being tested. and then he disappears like the last big chunk of the movie, and like he shows up again for a little bit, but it's Sarah again or whatever. Also, why the hell would you stay in the house? Yeah, you got rid of the body or you got rid of the evil or whatever, but like, dude, your friend Milo he was on the walls, he was dead, and your husband got cut to all hell and he's dead probably. There was a weird disfigured girl living in your walls. Why would you even want to stay there even if you thought for a second that you got rid of it all? But hey, Liz, do whatever makes you and your baby happy. I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think the movie looks cool during some moments, but other than that, it's just sort of like, okay. But that's pretty much gonna do it for this video. If you've seen Girl on the Third Floor, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. This video comes out the day of the Oscars, so if you're watching the Oscars, let's freaking go. Hope the movies that I like win stuff, and you know. But I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.